I just want to ask you a question because this is the most important thing. Like when building a foundation, when building an empire, the most important thing is not how beautiful it looks. It's not about how big the building is. It's about how solid is your foundation that you're building your empire on, that you're building your structure on. Like this is the most important thing of doing construction when you're building out something, when you're building out that great empire that's in your mind. What are you building it on? Like, what's your foundation? What's your foundation? Like, like, how strong is the thing that you're building? Like, how strong is it that you're building it on? And some of us, we're building a foundation we got this big building, but it's built on sand. We got this big empire you want to build, but it's built on, like I say, it's built on sand, y'all. And so it's like, just imagine a beautiful building, a big tall skyscraper. It looks so beautiful, but when the storm comes, we realize like the foundation was built on is not sustainable. And that's how a lot of us, like in our life, like we're building great things, like we're doing great things, but it's like, is the foundation you're building it on really solid? If you're building your foundation on any other thing besides God, when the storm comes, it will show up what you was built on. It will show up, and that thing will come down. Your empire will come down. So don't be so in the rush just to build something just because like you're in a hurry or you're trying to show people you got it going on. You're trying to show people that you got this big build. You're trying to show people that how nice it look, and you miss the most important part. That's the foundation, and that's the part that take the longest, y'all. When I was out there, I was watching these people doing construction. I was out there hauling rocks to this construction site, and I say, bruh, like the process of just doing the construction part, I was like, bruh, it take all of this. Like they have spent months, like just to do the construction, like just to come lay the ground out. Like stuff is everywhere. They got a pile of rocks over here. They got dirts over here. They got pipeline over here, pipeline over there. I'm like, they ain't even got started with doing nothing yet. They just so like the foundation is what take the longest. But it's like once you get that foundation built, like the rest is history. But most of us we don't want to take the time out to that slow process of building that solid foundation. Most of us don't want to take the time out to build that solid foundation and build it the right way and build it with God. Because with God, it might take a little longer, right? The devil might give you that house quicker. The devil might give you that car quicker. The devil might give you that spouse quicker. The devil might give you the money. The devil might give you the fame, but that foundation ain't solid. And this be like, you got it quick, but when the storm come, when the adversity come in your life, we're going to see what that foundation was built on. That's why you see so many people that built these great empires because it's not built with God. It wasn't built with God, so that's why they build it with one hand and tear it down with the other. And I'm willing to, I don't care how long it take, y'all. I don't care how long it take for me to set this foundation up, but my foundation gonna be with God for the rest of my life. I don't care how long it take me to build what I'm building. I don't care. Like I want my foundation to be solid. I don't mind taking as much time as I need to make sure I have a solid foundation because I understand this is the most important part of the building. This is the most important part. So when the adversity come in, the storm come in my life, my foundation is so solid that you can't tear it down. Because this was built on God. This was built on faith. This was built on hard work. This was built with me and God in the relationship on one accord. This was built with me living in my purpose. This was me making impact over income. This was built on. And some of us, like we're building on the wrong thing. The devil only come for one thing, y'all, to kill, steal, and destroy. So don't be so caught up in the materialistic things and being successful quick. Like don't be so caught up in that. Like I want you to take your time with God. I want you to take your time with God and just and see like what He has for you. I want you to just really take your time. I don't care how long it takes, y'all. And that's like we got to stop confusing our time with God timing. You might think it's gonna happen in 2 years, and God be like, nope, I know I want it to happen in 5. Or you might think it might happen in 5 and God be like, no, I want it to happen in 10 years. But that's why our faith and the trust kick in. That's why we have to have faith and trust in God because He don't show us like the valley we got to go through. He only show us the end goal. He only show us that's the vision. He only gonna show us the vision. That's why our faith has to be so strong. That's why our trust has to be so tight. That's why you have to be on one accord, be in alignment with your purpose. Because as long as you understand the assignment, no matter what you have to go through, your main goal is making sure God gets the glory for completing his mission. That should be the main goal. And then when that thing is built, y'all, listen, y'all, it might take a long time. It might take 5 years longer. It might take 2 years longer. It might take 3 years longer. But when that thing is built, you know it is solid because it was built on the word of God. It was built on the alignment. It was built with purpose. This the foundation. This the foundation we talking about. The foundation just takes so much time. I was doing some research and it says a rocket uses the most energy when it's taken off. That's when the rocket uses the most gas and most fuel and most energy during takeoff. But once it get up there, like it's a breeze from there. And some of us, like, we are in that stage in our life where we're just trying to get this thing off the ground. And yes, it's going to be a dog fight. It's going to be a lot of energy. It's going to be a lot of late nights. It's going to be a lot of sleepless nights. It's going to be a lot of missed events. But this is where the most energy is used, y'all, during takeoff, building that solid foundation, standing with God through all the adversity, standing with God through all the situations and the circumstances, just standing down 10 toes and telling God, listen, I'm fighting with you, God. I got faith. I got faith. I don't care what it looked like. I don't care what it looked like. I'm so focused on the purpose and the mission. I don't care what's in front of me. I don't care what my life look like at the moment. I know it ain't going to be like this forever. I just got to continue to fight through. It's all about perspective. Because where your focus goes is where your energy flows. If you're focused on all the negative things in your life, you're going to give energy to that. And that's what keeping you down. That's what keeping you from focus on the thing what your life could look like because you're so focused on what it looked like. I ain't focused on that. Yeah, my life might not be what I wanted to be right now, but I got faith. I got trust. I know God is working in my favor. Like, if you say you trust God, it no matter what your life look like now. You have to be able to see past that. And some of us are letting our current situation dictate our future. Stop letting your current situation dictate how your future gonna turn out. Yeah, it might be ugly right now. So what? So what? Like, you getting worked on. You getting worked on in the dark. You feel me? Like, you getting worked on in the dark. And just think about this. Think about this. When you see a plant like coming up out of the ground, do you really think that plant just started growing because you see it now? The plant just didn't start growing now because you see it growing up out of the ground. The plant was getting worked on in the dark the whole time. The seed was getting sprouted out and growing roots for the solid foundation in the ground the whole time. It was getting worked on in the dark. But just because you don't see the growth don't mean I ain't working. Just because you don't see the growth doesn't mean God ain't working. Just because you don't see it doesn't mean He's not doing anything. And it's going to be 5, 10, maybe 15 years later when you're going to start to show up out of the ground and people going to think you just started being successful then. No, I was getting worked on in the dark the whole time. God was planting seeds in me the whole time. God was furbishing me up for this the whole time. Like, y'all didn't see them past 10 years that I was out here grinding in late night and studying the word and believing in God and having the faith and behind on bills and late on car payments. And y'all didn't see that. Y'all didn't see that. But now it's like I'm an overnight success. No, I was getting worked on in the dark. I was getting worked on in the dark. You just didn't see it. And just because people don't see your growth, that don't mean you're not growing. I want you to think about that next time you feel like you're not moving the needle in your life, or you feel like you just like at this glass ceiling where you can't go no more. I want you to know that seed get worked on in the dark before it ever comes to the light. You have to do the work in the dark. You have to get broken down in the dark, like you're building your roots up. Like, that's the most important part. Like, this is why that seed has to get buried, get planted, not buried, get planted in the ground, because this is where the most work get done in the dark. And they putting out the roots, the seeds sprout out, grow the roots, get attached, get the solid foundation, get attached. to the roots, and then we start to grow up. But that's the part don't nobody wants to do because that's not sexy. And another thing, don't nobody see that. Don't nobody see me in here late night reading. Don't nobody see me in here late night studying. Don't nobody see me in here late night praying to God and had talking that one-on-one with God and had like don't nobody see that. So that's not sexy for most people. Most people only want to work on things that people can see. They can't see how intelligent I am about the stock market. They can't see how my faith is with God. You can't see that physically, right? You can't see that. So most people don't want to work on things that they can't show off that other people can't see. That's why most people are like, we'll go to the gym and stuff. Why? People can see your physique. People can see that. That's why most people would rather go get the car. Why? People can see that. People would rather get the house. People can see that. So we tend to focus on the things that only people can see. But now understanding the internal work is the most important part. That's your foundation. That's the internal work. So you so focused on the external thing, that's the most important part. Like when you're hurting internal, I did some research on this too. Internal bleeding way more worse than that external bleeding. But they're gonna be a whole nother video though. I'm gonna talk about that though. But the internal bleeding, some of us there, you look good externally. You got the house, you got the car, you got the money, you got the fame, you got the jewelry, you got all of that. But internal, you are bleeding internally, and that's something people can't see, but it's affecting you way worse than the external bleeding. When you're hurting in the inside, when your faith ain't in alignment, when you're not right mentally, when you're not right spiritually. That's internal bleeding. Some of us are bleeding internally and can't nobody see it, but we are hurting. I want you to know, stop focusing on the external things and fix the internal things. If you take care of the inside, the outside, I take care of itself. That's why I focus on foundation. Focus on the foundation first. If you build your foundation strong, building the house or building the skyscraper, building the empire, it's nothing at this point. But we have to get the foundation first right. We have to get the foundation first. So I want to get into it. So we're going to start in Matthew 7, verse 24, and we're going to read down because this was so important to me when I heard this, when I read this passage. I say, yeah, man, this is what my people need to hear. And also, I need to hear this too. Like building that foundation with God, y'all. On the word of God. So let's get into it. Matthew 7, verse 24. Therefore, everyone who hears these words. So let's start right there. Because we can't understand what the word means. We don't understand what the word means. So therefore, everyone who hears, like hearing, like he's telling you, we just hear these words of mine. Right? Hearing these words of mine. That's why God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. You should be listening twice as much as you talk. Hear these words of mine and put them to practice. So it ain't enough for us to just hear the word of God. It ain't enough for us to just read the Bible. It ain't enough for us to just hear. It's not enough. We must put it into practice. Most of us, you've been going to church for all this long. You've been reading about it. You've been praying, but you haven't been putting the word of God into practice. And I tell people this all the time, bro. The Bible is nothing but a book of principle or a book of promise. If you do these certain things, if you do A, B, C, you're guaranteed to get D. But most of us are not putting these plans and things in practice because we're so spiritual. We're missing the principle that's in the Bible. We're missing the solid principles that are in here. And say, put them to practice. It's like a wise man who built his house on the rock. The rain came down, the screens rose, and the winds blew and beat against that house. Yet it did not fall because it had its foundation on rock. Let's read it again. Therefore, everyone who hears these words of mine and put them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on the rock. Come on, man. So God is telling you, if you're hearing these words of mine, and then you're following my word by putting them into practice, that is just equivalent to somebody building their house on a rock with a solid foundation. That's just equivalent as somebody building a solid foundation on some rock. They building a house that you're just that equivalent. You're become a wise builder now. You're building your foundation on the word of God. Come on, man. Like God, this is a book of principles, y'all. He's telling you, if you can just hear my word, hear my voice, and put it into practice, Now we building our foundation on the word of God, y'all. That's why I don't mind giving him praise. That's why I don't mind reading the Bible. That's why I don't mind putting his words into practice, because now I'm building my foundation on the word of God. And he told me in Matthew 7:24 that if I can just put his words into practice, it's just equivalent as somebody building their foundation on the rock. That means it's silent. And watch this. Let's go a little farther. He also say the rain came down, the screen rose, the wind blew and beat against that house, yet it did not fall. He telling you it will be the storm coming. God telling you the adversity coming. He's telling you the circumstances coming, the situation's coming. I don't care because you're a Christian or whatever. Don't think you excluded from adversity. But I want you to, God is telling you, if you can build your foundation on the word of God, I don't care if the screens rolled. I don't care that the wind came and blew against the house. I don't care that the rain came down. It will not fall. Because it has its foundation on the rock. How many of us is just out here like living by the word of God? Put his words into practice, hearing it. That's what he's like. Once you hear my words, hear these words of mine. Come on, man. That's why we should be listening to God, man. How many of us are really listening to God and then put it into practice? Knowing is not enough, we must do. Basically what they're saying. You can't just hear the word of God and not do nothing about it. We can't just hear the word of God and not put his plans into action. How many of us are out here running away from our purpose, and God has clearly told you and showed you signs what you should be doing, but you're not? You hear him talking, but you're not putting his words into practice. And now, don't get me wrong. He's telling you, like, you will build it. You might do build a house. You might do build an empire and build that foundation. But when the rain comes and the screens and the wind blow against the house, it will come down if it's not built on the word of God. Let's keep reading. But everyone who hears these words of mine and does not put them into practice is like a foolish man who built his house on sand. The rain came down, the screen rose, and the winds blew and beat against that house, and it fell with a great crash. Like, I like how God make things just so simple and plain. Like, some of us, like I said, we make the Bible, we make this thing so spiritual and make it so religious that we just miss it. Like, God really just telling you, like, if you can do these things, you're guaranteed this. And some of us are looking like, why when I go through adversity, like I just get broken down so much? Is because, you built something. You was out here grinding. You was out here doing your thing, but it was not built on the word of God. And then when the adversity come, when the rain come, and the screens rose and the wind blow against your house, it will crash. So I want to challenge you today. Starting today, y'all, not tomorrow, not next week. I want to challenge you today to start listening to the word of God. When you hear God speak and hear his words, I need you to start putting them into practice and start building your foundation, whatever you're building, that business you're building, your investments, that real estate you're buying. I need for it to be built on the word of God. I need for us to start living in our purpose. Start losing the gift. God tells us your gift will make room for you. Listen to the word of God, y'all, and then let's start putting it into practice. He's telling you. So even when the adversity comes, your house will not fall because it was built on the foundation of the rock. It was built on the foundation of God. God is telling you, when you're, watch this, y'all. This is so good. God is telling you, when you hear my words, when you hear my voice, when you hear me speak, and you put my plans and my words into action, into practice, like that is so equivalent to a man building a house on a solid foundation that was built on rock. I don't care when the wind comes, I don't care what go on. It will not crash. God telling you, you still gonna have adversity. But because it was built with me, I ain't gonna let you fall. I'm not gonna let your business fall. I'm not gonna let your investments fall. I'm not gonna let your kids fall. Whatever you're doing, I need you to put God first. In your marriage, I need you to put God first. Most of us, like you say, you're not including God in your life. Like you probably got him maybe third or fourth on the list. I need you to make him number one in everything, your marriage, your business, your personal life, and everything. Because once it's built on that, that's a solid foundation. And I don't care what you go through after that. Listen, I trust God's word so much. Like once He tell me something, I like it's guaranteed. God has never failed or forsaken me. He never did that to you too. I want you to just think about how many times you done been through some things. Like how many times you've been close to like dying or getting put out your house, and or you been late on some payments, or you didn't even know where your next meal was gonna come from. Y'all done been through all of that. You didn't even know, but somehow, some way, you just always figure it out. I want you to understand, like that is not you. Like we're not that deep, we're not that smart. That is the spirit that is upon you, and that's God watching over you because He has a bigger purpose for you. He has a bigger mission for you. And the day you start listening to God, start putting it into practice, you start building a solid foundation for you and your family for generations to come. Because God gonna take care of people that's not only surrounded by you, but that's connected to you, your descendants. Just um, um, look at Noah when he built the ark. He was by him being obedient, by him listening. Oh, watch this. By Noah being so obedient to the word of God, listening to His words and then put them into practice, he did exactly everything God told him to do. He built the ark exactly how God told him to build it, when to build it. Like he did exact what God told him to do. And because of that, he was able to save his wife, his sons are the three wives, and the girlfriends are the wives, and all the animals that came on the ark with him. Just for one man being obedient. Just for one man being obedient, listen to the word of God. So I want you, now when you hear the word of God, start putting them into practice. Start being obedient. Because not only is that going to save you, but it'll help you save like so many other people that's connected to you. Could be your wife or your husband, your kids, and all the people that's connected to them. Just because you decide to hear the word of God and put them into practice. So you can set up that solid foundation. And I hope y'all stay blessed. Keep God first because you'll never be last. And most importantly, man, I always choose education over entertainment.